Hey, what is up everybody, and welcome to the Easter egg guide tutorial for the brand new zombies map Astra Malorum for Black Ops 7 Zombies. If this video does help you out, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, try and get us to 1 million, and leave a like as well. It would help out a lot. But without further ado, let's jump straight into the tutorial. So as soon as you spawn into the map, go and turn on power. Once you've got that power turned on, you now need to go and collect 2 parts to the Harmonic component. One of these parts is going to be inside of the Machina Astralis, and the other one is going to be located inside of the Liminarium. They'll be found next to these 2 dead bodies. Pick these up and go and make your way back to the Pack-a-Punch room. You can now place these next to the organ across from Pack-a-Punch, and this will then start a Pack-a-Punch lockdown. Just survive in here long enough, and the Pack-a-Punch will be available to use. After this, near the spawn area of the map, there will be a lamppost that is flashing. You'll be able to shoot this lamppost, and some wires will drop down. We got our lamppost inside of the Liminarium, but I have heard rumors that there might be another one. So just check around the spawn until you find a flashing lamppost that drops you some wires. Also, at this point, you can shoot Tessie. She will then spit out a battery for you to pick up as well. And once one of the Oscar enemies are inside of the map, the new mini boss, if you shoot one of his UFOs that brings down his shield, he will drop that UFO and you'll be able to pick that up as well. You'll be able to place all of these 3 parts that you just picked up inside of the Liminarium, underneath the switch on the trap. And if you can get another Oscar into the map, bring him into this room and activate the trap, it will then do a lockdown where you've just got to let Oscar roam around in this room until the lockdown is successfully finished. You'll know you've done this correctly if Oscar spits out a tiny robot. But don't worry, you don't need to pick that up. Now make your way back to the Pack-a-Punch room. You're now going to have multiple of these air valves around this room, and there's also one next to the teleporter in the tiny room next to Pack-a-Punch as well. You can find these on the walls, you can find these underground underneath PAP, and you can find these above PAP as well. These air valves will be spitting out air, and only one will be active at any one time. Shoot the one that's active and then go find the next one. You'll be able to hear which one is on as well as visually seeing this. And you'll know you've done this correctly because now you'll be able to interact with the telescope. Your next job is to get another Oscar inside of this room right next to the Pack-a-Punch area and move that telescope so it's hovering over the sun. Once you've hovered it over the sun, it'll kick you out of the telescope and you'll see a giant beam. Get Oscar to go into this beam. Once again, you'll know you've done this correctly if Oscar spits out a tiny robot toy. Now you need to go and get cryo freeze on any of your weapons. And you can go and shoot the crystals that are around the map, the normal Ethereum crystals. Shoot them with cryo freeze on your weapon and they'll drop blue crystals out of them that you can pick up. You need to get 3 of these from 3 Ethereum crystals. Now bring another Oscar inside of the museum. You have to stand him directly behind this rocket and interact with the rocket. The rocket will then blow up on him, and you'll know you've done this correctly if he then drops the wonder weapon. Also, while you're inside of the museum, you can shoot the glass on this cabinet right here to then be able to pick up the saw blade. At this point, I strongly advise that you put subtitles on inside of your game. Your next job is to go and find another Oscar and follow him around the map, but not get in too close. If he doesn't know that you're behind him, he'll start talking random gibberish. And eventually you will hear a voice that will tell you 3 planets in a very specific order. Like I said, with subtitles on it, you'll be able to visually see them on the screen as well. Now these planets are represented by their planetary position away from the sun. So they are as follows. Mercury is 1, Venus is 2, Earth is 3, Mars is 4, Jupiter is 5, Saturn is 6, Uranus is 7, and Neptune is 8. So when you got your planets, you type in those planets in terms of what number that planet is from what I've just said inside of the computer inside of the Pack-a-Punch room. So let's say, for example, you got Mercury, Venus, Earth, it would be 1, 2, 3. If you got Mercury, Venus, Mars, it'd be 1, 2, 4. You'll know you've inputted the correct code when you type this in, and the platform will lower down in front of you. You can then jump up onto that platform and collect the key. Now, inside of the Machina Matravis room, there'll be an iron lung with a man inside. You can now interact with this, and then you'll cut out his brain. You're going to be replacing the brain inside of the Luminarium with the brain that you just picked up. And when you switch these 2 brains, you'll then be able to interact with the new location again, which will now start a lockdown. And after that 1-minute lockdown, you'll then be able to pick up the brain again and take it over to the machine Astralis. I'm really sorry, some of these room names are crazy. Once you place it in, you can now go and make your way over to the Pack-a-Punch room. And when you look inside of the telescope and make your way over to the other planet that's available in there, not the sun, it will then tell you the code over the left-hand side of the screen. It's going to be a 4-digit code. And this could also include the degrees in this code as well. The degrees count as a 0. Get that 4-digit code from the bottom left of the telescope while you're hovering over that planet, and then go and input them into this device inside of the Astralis area. The machine underneath will now give you a list of book titles, and those book titles can be found on the shelves inside of the library. In this room, you're going to find 3 busts, and you can turn these busts, but only for the first 15 seconds of every round. Your job is to turn each bust the same amount of times as the books that you get from the computer in terms of the titles that are on that wall next to the bust. So for this bust, I only got 1 book, so I turn it 1. For this bust, I got 2 books on this wall, so I'm going to turn it twice. There's going to be 8 books that you can get inside of this room, but the most I've ever seen in a game from that computer is 4 books. The least I've seen is 3. And when you've turned those busts at the start of the round the correct amount of times that correlate with the books on that side of the wall, the loft area at the top of the stairs in the library will open up, giving you your final planet, which is Neptune. Place the planet that you just picked up at the top floor of the Astralis, and now we're going to go and find 3 pages that are around the map. And these pages that we find will show a direction and also show a planet that we're going to be moving in that direction. So the locations we can find these pages are inside of the room itself where we just were. So where we place the planet, there's going to be a table inside of there, and on that page we're going to see a planet and a direction. Just write these down. Your next location for a page is next to the trap that we got Oscar in earlier, once again showing another planet and another direction. And finally, our third page is going to be inside of the library, and this is going to show once again another planet and another direction. I think these are the only 3 available, but if any more are found, I will put them inside of the comment section. Go back to the Astralis room where you can now shoot those 3 planets that you got, and the good thing is you can't shoot any other ones. You're going to be shooting those 3 planets to the correct direction that it says on this gold compass. So if it says northwest, you shoot it to northwest, southwest to southwest. Really simple. Once the 3 planets are orientated correctly, you'll be able to interact once again with the machine where the brain is, and you'll now get a lockdown where you must stop Oscar from putting his UFOs inside of the teleporter ring. Make sure you destroy them before they fly in. After you've done that correctly, you'll then be sucked into the Mars teleporter. Once you get to Mars, you'll locate the brain that's in the center of the map. Pick the brain up and place it inside of the main device at the top of the stairs. Now you'll be able to interact with the device. If you look out into the distance at the start of a new round, you will notice that there's a small floating object out in the distance, and you can now shoot the 4 Tesla poles that are outside of the map as well. You'll know you've done this correctly if these 4 Tesla poles are lighting up. Make sure you shoot all 4 of them, gradually getting closer to you, and then finally shoot the final large one at the top of the stairs. You'll then see a flying scarab make its way over to the top of the stairs. Your job is to now shoot this orb at the top until you get anti-gravity inside of this room again. Once the anti-gravity is on, you'll now be able to jump around this area of the map until you can physically go through and pick up the scarab that's flying around. Just wait until it's low enough. And now you can place that scarab eye on this rock formation right here. You now need to go back to the Pack-a-Punch room and interact with the organ. The organ is going to be showing you 4 separate images, and these are the images that you're going to be shown, but it's going to be in any random order. And there's also going to be one of the organ notes that's played that doesn't show an image. So we're going to call this blank. So I've numbered these for you so you can do this easier inside of your game. So we're going to call this 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another symbol is going to be known as blank. Now we're going to make our way back to Mars, where we can now shoot the tops of all of these spires. There's going to be 5 of them. Once we've shot all of those, you'll notice that you can now actually interact with those pillars, but we're going to be interacting them in the same order that we got on that organ, including the blank one as well. For me, every game so far, the blank one has been on the top left side of the stairs when you are looking out into the distance. So as soon as you go into Mars on the left-hand side, that's normally been the blank one. Just go up to the pillar that you have first and interact with it. If it turns blue, you've done it correctly. Do this for the combination that you got from the organ, and once again, including the blank. And if you've done that correctly, you'll then finally be able to go up and interact with the machine that is at the top of the stairs in Mars and start the boss fight. This boss fight is tanky. The first phase of this is the skull boss fight. This is super simple. It's a simple soul box, but you can have a laser tracking every player on your game. So if you're in one game, you're only going to have 1 laser attack. If you've got 4 players, there's going to be 4. It's a simple soul box, kill zombies, avoid dying, and when you've killed enough zombies, you'll be able to interact with the machine at the top, which will now fire a laser at the skull. You need to do this 3 times. After doing this 3 times, it will then blow up the rock. After that, you then have 4 boss phases of basically the exact same boss fight. It is a bullet sponge boss fight. You need to break armor on this boss. Once his armor breaks, you're going to be shooting his critical spots, and once his critical spots have been damaged enough, he will die. But there's going to be 4 separate different phases after that skull phase where he gets bigger and more ridiculously strong. This is a tough boss fight, so I strongly advise that you go in with Pack-a-Punch tier 3 LMGs because you will need a lot of ammo, and there's no refills of ammo inside of this boss fight until the final phase. So I strongly advise going in with a lot of essence as well. But there you go. Hopefully you guys have absolutely smashed that Easter egg. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like on the channel. As always, subscribe if you are brand new. I'll see you guys in the next video or the next live stream. Thank you very much for watching, and peace out.